true taste of Cavanagh at the end of club.
That's the big question here. Are they going to be able to continue what they have shown before? At least they start off on their defense here on Oregon. MNM back onto their attack, something they seem to be favoring here and there in their playstyle. So let us find out whether or not this is going to be helping them for the remainder of this matchup. Twitch, the first to be removed by Cavanagh. An operator that, I mean, they themselves have also used here and there, but probably don't want to deal with right now. And as MNM is going to be removing their first attacker, their only attacker as well, it's going to be a Thatcher, quite logically speaking so.
Twitch and Thatcher, both taken out, both sort of causing some different level of limitations here. And obviously MNM now have the choice of what they want to limit on the defense. And why is the cost okay? He can be a big power player in certain holds, and we saw them flirt with the idea of bringing some of that control before, but didn't quite have the same, I guess, effect they wanted those power bands to be. Valkyrie, pretty consistent removal since it absolutely terrorized them on Cafe, and I have no qualms with Cavanagh being a bit scared of her right now.
No, quite logically so. They've been struggling clearing out those chems on Cafe, and they decided, you know what, if we can't clear them out, then we'll just ban it. And as soon as they did, I mean, they did find a success on Clubhouse, a map where Valkyrie's also really powerful if played right. So, rightfully so, continuing with those bans, just use that same Trond. Or Trent. So we're headed towards the basement here. Cavanagh choosing to defend that first. And due to the Twitch ban, the mirror windows will be a little bit safer. But that doesn't stop the Flores drones to come in. Of course, those won't destroy the mirror windows, not the canisters either, but other pieces of utility. Think of shields, for example, that the smoke would like to bring in the elbow. And the Banshees at the same time. Could be destroyed quite easily by the RC Roteros.
It's a Trond.
Trend.
I was waiting for you to finish so I could. Maybe we're both slowly losing it as the day continues.
Maybe. I mean, I already know I cannot speak English properly. So.
Yeah, I guess it's your second language. It's my first. So I can't really claim the same here. We start down in the basement. We start with a bit of Cavanagh on defense. As I said, this is likely how it was going to go with it not being their map. You want to lead in on the side you think you'll have more success on. And, you know, Oregon still does offer some growth here, but I think that there's a bit more pressure now on MNM's opener. They're a great attacking team. They're a great attacking side, but if they can't quite get a solid handle on this, regardless of where the score goes, it might start to show these higher signs every single round. It's an extra 4 minutes, roughly.
Yeah, that's it, right? Prep phase and the round itself coming through as well. Let's even forgetting about the pick area. Not quite sure what that RC Rotero did. Didn't get rid of any piece of the utility, of course. Was receiving some fire from Gorgona, from the smoke itself of Anarchic as well, but gonna have to get another RC out to at least stop and kill that Banshee. There you have it. Gonna be removed. Yeah, still up, but that's not the biggest issue. The shield is potentially going to be that next target if at least they want to push that way. Now, and starting already quite close. He's looking to be heading into the freezer. The drone is allowing him to be the spearhead of the attack, and as there is a player quite close, potentially playing right behind the mirror window, there's going to be this issue now. How do we get rid of these mirror windows and the players behind it? They have some grenades. Those could be used, but if you go towards the laundry staircase as well, you're going to find another mirror window with a little cubby that Sloth will be playing. So it's just a very, very difficult position right here that MNM is in.
They're getting some steady control. They're trying to find a drone out and seeing if they can just get a bit of a prod on the backside of the site. But sometimes Oregon does require that quick burst of aggression, that quick idea of let's hit up E-Box, let's try and take this jump in and see what can come of it. Neo is going to see if they can steady their way down here. They have the Maverick to pop open the hatches that are otherwise controlled by the Kaid claws if need be, and it's going to be the slow burn. Waiting for the approach potentially to come through, but nothing is going to instantly be a bit of a countenance here.
Now first, the small angle being created to provide some cover, or at least have the opportunity to do so. But it seems like a rotation call came through because they both just packed up and decided to rotate around. And as one of the flying drones is being set up, Nella will be opening up the E-Box hatch. A grenade will be used to at least get rid of the Electro Claw successfully. So yes, it will be. And that means that the X-Caras will be used to do the rest of the job. The first smoke canister has just popped as well on the side of Blue, on the side of Barrels. And that means that one will mean that Solotov is a little bit hindered in his approach.
Well, an arc kick, you're locked in, mate, and you're just going to try and hold on to that corner for as long as possible, because at this point they're still going to waste utility and try and get rid of you, but then they're also going to turn a corner and you're just locked in a corner. Now Solotov takes the hot drop. There's that. I said it's going to be caught out. 5 versus 3, 2, 1. And it's almost go here as Solotov tries to swing around. As I said, all he did was find an arc kick and a locked box, a bit of a chuckle, and Cavanagh are off to a start.
Very difficult first round here. We have to say it was those mirror windows they were struggling with. Nothing really to take those out. Of course, you had a Hibana, but if you do not have the control to ensure that the pellets do stay on, it's just wasting pellets in that case. And with the ban of the Twitch, that's exactly what Cavanagh is looking to play into here. Headed towards the kids in dorms next, however, is not really a site where the mirror is of that much use, and that means that we should be seeing a little bit more security on the side of MNM now. MNM should be able to launch at least an attack that could be getting somewhere onto the site itself.
Up to dorms, up to the top floor, up to a bit of an extension here. They're going to play themselves with the same traps and collection, but as you said, it was a bit of a stump that Eminem hit there. They couldn't quite get it removed and couldn't quite get themselves locked in and pushing closer and closer towards, well, the site itself. It was risky business, and well, the risk didn't quite pay off. They didn't have the confidence to swing in and push that utility and try and play it to a place of somewhere they could try and be a bit devastating. At that point, you start to wonder, where is this going to go for Eminem? If they don't start trying to clutch some rounds, as said, in their attack, which is usually quite good, we might start to see some quite bad things happen.
Action phase start. Preparation almost completed. Still a final couple of pieces of utility left in the hands of the Cavanagh players as they are being set up. Not really under pressure, so nothing really to truly worry about. It is MNM that is needing to start to worry, however, because they have played. This is at least their 7th map that they have started in a row. Only 20 minutes in between the first best of 3 and the start of the best of 5. Sloth trying to go for a bit of an aggression here. It's Neo that takes a small amount of damage, but he manages to survive for now at least. MNM. What can they do? What can they hold on to? They need to find a bit of pressure to come through as a grenade comes around the corner and deals a small bit of damage, but nothing too major yet. All the reinforcements are being put in place as they now know where the push is coming from. Let them work at it. A minute has passed. A small bit of time wasted. The Sloth stays aggressive in front of the game store. It is MNM that needs to find a way in, and that starts with users at the basement. Trying to get a grenade in, possibly at the right place, could go for a potential double kill.
They're seeing if they can start trying to pick away at the utility. Users is underneath, as he said. He's going to see if he can try and catch anybody, but Kona is that loose element right now. And you look at the holes that are open onto the default plant, you have to have the confidence over Zulu. You have to have the confidence over the close corners before the corners become a bigger engagement. Users only really catches Neo. At that point, they're going to see if they can try and get rid of anything on the wall, but no result. No caught, no catch, no dice. And as we go closer and closer to that minute mark before we find ourselves passing over, MNM have got to try and pass themselves over to a new site, a new approach, and a new bit of tandem. Another grenade. Finally, they have some entrance.
Starting to open up even further now. Extra X-Caras are being deployed as the first one is on a bit of a iffy spot. You don't really want to be opening that one up, and as Tyrant has the games under control, he now needs to find an entry for the rest of his team, and well, rather sooner than later. 50 seconds on that clock, and as the pre-fires are coming back from the side of defenders, it's Tyrant that is still alive on that door, active and present as Nello is sneaking inside the attic here. Is he going to be able to pick up a very important kill? Yes, he does. It's a 4-on-4 instead. still counting down. MNM has a man advantage now. Make that 1 or 2, or actually it falls back into favor of Cavanagh as Benja is going to be able to pick up a double kill together with Sloth here. A pistol that comes in at the right moment. A grenade is being tossed. The first goes the right way, but a pre-fire is there at the end. Benja locks off the round for the side of Cavanagh. After Eminem had the 2 or 3 minute advantage, it quickly fell back into the hands of Cavanagh. And this is where indeed fatigue is starting to play a role, I dare to say. Or at least some unfortunate timing, some missed information, but the little mistakes, or rather Cavanagh being able to pull these rounds back into their favor, are starting to play a role.
This is the point. This is the point where if you're a Cavanagh fan, you start trying to bring some of that energy. And if you're an Eminem fan, you try and bring a little bit more. It's getting a little bit costly, all those moments where they can't quite get the connection that otherwise would have been a more perfect landing earlier on in the day. Here on the tertiary site, they're going to see if they can try and put some of the distance and break across the stage itself. Maybe see if they can build from it and through it. But still a lot of work left to be done.
Still a lot of work left to be done. Still 7 rounds is all that Eminem needs, as we have started the new round. The 3 rounds they needed earlier, or 2 even, have been reset back to the full 7. But Cavanagh, in the meantime, is starting to run away with it here in Oregon. We said before, we didn't expect it to be a reverse sweep, but there has been many. And there could definitely be one building yet once more, because if Cavanagh continue what they currently are doing here on their defense, surely they'll find themselves in a very good position to win this map as well, and put themselves up to 2 maps, which truly turns it back into a best of 1, where one of the teams has a lot more maps under their legs than the other. Now, some utilities being taken care of. The RC Retiro is doing their job, but they need to make sure that they start getting these entries. And I mean, they did manage to get a 2-minute advantage the last time around. It's just that it instantly gets swapped around by Benja, mainly, and Sloth, which of course playing with the pistol. Getting a nasty shot that shouldn't have been his. Truly turned it back into their favor.
A quick spray and, well, at least they've been able to get the body balance into their favor, something that hasn't quite been happening with Eminem's connections before. It's a very important round because it is, as we said, the tertiary site. The hold theoretically should be the one that they can try and make the most inroads onto. They've got to do it sooner rather than later. Having to utilize the grenade to burn through that Aruni gate themselves before they see if they can catch on the far side, but it's actually nothing that gets caught. The ADS keeps the shield safe, keeps the chance of a swing round, and with Vertical still in the pressure and presence of Cavanagh, it's not really a place that Eminem can just make an entrance on.
Time ticking, 90 seconds. Sloth below, opening up a barricade to potentially go for a rotate or a nitro cell from below, which unfortunately not fail or not succeed to find anybody. Isn't a DMR here suppressed to open up a little bit more? Of course, the side is not going to be that top floor. They still need to find themselves a way in either the meeting or the kitchen area. And as the smoke canisters are being deployed right now, that is going to be used to stop and hold back the attackers from reaching that top floor. In the meantime, it's actually Anarchy himself already dropped down. He's going to use yet another smoke canister through a vertical hold to stop them from moving into wide. And as the barbed wire is being hit, that's Tyrant that gets taken out. Sloth goes for the confirmation, but takes a small amount of damage as a result. But at least they have traded back to round or man count. 40 seconds left now. Last smoke canister used. Uses in a position where he can take or work on the top floor control with the rest of his team.
Quick spray round onto the backside of the player, just caught out in the middle there. They're going to see if they can try and take some verticality, but with looking the wrong way. Gorgona gets 1, gets 2, gets dropped, traded out, and there's the down player on the far side. Neo starts to shine a little bit here, but with 20 seconds, they got to see if they can get the drop in any coverage possible. Neo and Nello, this dream team, last left on the board, and Arctic has nothing in his pocket, neither does Sloth, and it's an easy pickup either side. Cavanagh tie their 3rd round in a row, get themselves that perfect rotation, and more teeing themselves up for this level of success.
Lack any information there at the end of the round. That is what's costing them at this very moment, and the timeout is being called by the side of MNM quite early on. They know they need to get a couple of these rounds to go their way to preferably in the next 3. But at this moment, it's not looking much like it. Cavanagh all over Eminem in this case. Let's see if we can get another miracle timeout to happen where Eminem is going to be able to chain up these rounds one after another to pick up 2, maybe 3, to ensure themselves a proper fight in the second half where they will be on the defense themselves. And as well, the timeout could be called now. I mean, we're playing in that basement. The mirror windows were difficult to deal with the last time around, so they need to find a way to do it. The 6-pick is still coming in close. Don't think we passed that. No, we're in the reveal phase now. So there might be an operator that gets called for. That is necessary. Sometimes you do see the Capital use the flame so they cannot use it. Use the smoke so they cannot see through it. Or maybe different approaches will be made. Grenades, for example, to be tossed in from either Tyrant or Usus or Nello. There is different ways to deal with it. It's just what question will be chosen by the side of MNM to try and bring the favor back towards their side, because they were so close to the Six Invitational, but it's starting to slip away just ever so slightly. They still have that map advantage, don't mind you. But that one is even starting to slip right now.
That's it. As we said at the very start of this showdown, they're not coming in as fresh as Cavanagh will be, and at first it worked against Cavanagh. They tried to warm themselves up into the game and see if they could try and apply something amongst themselves to it, but they started to strike when they needed to most. The turn of the half and those couple of rounds on club, the longer and further away from them we get, the heavier and heavier they are going to look and feel. Halfway through their attacks now. Eminem still have some chance to bring this back to a bit of an even. I think it's not entirely over yet, but we're back to the trickiest one, the one where they really struggled to get anything against the mirror windows. They couldn't quite get any of a hold here, and Cavanagh were more than happy to sit pretty, wait and bait, and blow them up with C4s as soon as they took the hot hatch drop.
Alrighty. Cavanagh, are you going to be able to turn the tide here completely? I mean, you've definitely started doing that on this map. The first one, or rather the third map, went your way. Now looking to find yet another. What needs to happen? Eminem needs to open up these hatches, needs to deal with these roamers, and needs to get rid of the mirror windows. Preferably in that order. Allowing Benji to go for a late flank is definitely not something that will be working out quite well for you. And this is something that needs to be avoided at all given time. Grizzly is active in those freezer stairs, just trying to make his presence known, trying and hoping to be hunted by the side of MNM, and willing to take a fight right there, willing to be the first one that does find contact. Starting to go for a very fake Gemini replicator here. I believe that should have been heard, or at least try to go for a small bait. It's not receiving anything.
It's a little bit quiet. And that's a bit of a worry right now, I think, for Eminem, because they're trying to structure themselves to make some noise. It starts it. They crack their way across the top and the hatches, and everything becomes lyrical around the ears of the player down in freezer. It's a slight different extension, but it's still a minute 30 gone, a minute 30 left, and Tyrant is the next to suffer as the swing comes up round on the back main stairs. The silence is only cautiously broken now. It's burning for the hatch, and the blowtorch buries its way through the remaining Moto box, but last time it turned into a hot drop, and here they got to see if they can try and get a little bit more. But Grizzly and Benja, they're a force to be reckoned with on freezer. There's the swing and the extension of elbow they've just sort of ignored this time round, and instead the focus is on how can we get some safety on the other side of site.
Probably want to take control of the pillars area. Grenades will be coming in very key at this given position. A drone will be giving that one away. Second one as well is going to be giving away the fact that Benja might be rotating around to the boiler room or towards the blue area. All 5 of them located around a singular hatch in the back staircase that they seem to want to use. MNM, they need to force themselves a way in. MNM needs to find a way through. Cavanagh is going to be the first one with a loss. A grenade pops in. Tyron gets that first kill. That might just be what they need. But 30 seconds are left on the clock right now. And as the last smoke canisters are being used to block off some lines of sight, it's Eminem that still needs to brute force through. It's a smoke canister that Nello just jumps through, uses as well, but the nitro cell pops him off. And that means that they need to continue to trade. It's a 2-on-4. They can go for a plan, but somehow they run in deep and 2 get picked up by the side of Gorgona before he gets taken down. It's a 1-on-1 right now. It's Solotov against Anarchic. It's a shotgun that will be able to end it right there. And Cavanagh is able to pick up yet another round after a questionable deep run from the diffuser carrier who gets picked up and loses it in the progress. And Cavanagh now 4-0 up is headed back towards that top 4. Only 3 rounds away from equaling up that map score and bringing us to a best-of-1 sprint to the Six Invitational.
It's that worry. It's that worry that you've turned a corner, you've gone over the peak, and you have to sort of see if you can try and find that second wind right now. Eminem, they're clutching at these rounds. They're gasping for things and plays that previously, earlier on maps, they just absolutely grabbed, took over and torrented. Rounds that were successes. Here, they cannot quite find those pieces of the puzzle. It has been a long day of intense competitive siege. And even in just this game alone, we're obviously now entering what is the 4th hour. There was a good 3 earlier on in the day for them too. Well, we have a rehost, but still moments to think.
Still some time to think indeed. And even though we might be headed towards that rehost, these players need to use the same operators that do come out. And it is going to be the question, will it be Eminem to finally find a response or not?
Okay, Eminem, you've had a bit of a moment. You've got 2 rounds that you can still take here on your attack, and they could swing you over to lead into a defense on the opposite side of Oregon, which, to be fair, comes into this battle back and forth map. The pressure that might otherwise be laid by this. So let's see. Chances are starting to build, and they're starting to dip and slightly slip away from how this has otherwise gone. It's just a little bit of a break in the momentum.
Definitely is. Small breaks here and there. And Cavanagh, are they going to be able to continue their progression, or is Eminem going to be able to shut them down now, finally, here on Oregon? 2 rounds, again, is what I said they would need. It's still quite possible for them to get it. After Rios, they've had some time to talk to themselves, not to the coach, of course. And the tactical timer might not have worked, but this one could. RC material being used right there to get rid of some of those Banshees. Also the barricade itself, but the Sphere Laser Gate will still be out there. There's going to be a shield of 2 of these ADSs located right next to the doorway, which means that Sloth is well protected. And if he just tries to drive these RC Retiros in, well, those will easily be shot down by the time they arrive. So it needs to be a challenge at the very same time while you're trying to get one of those explosive drones to reach their destination. It's being used from below to try and clear out other pieces of utility elsewhere on the map. It's Eminem yet to find a true entry onto the site.
The spray over the top there as they're keeping a bit of a locked key onto the door of Trophy. Sloth has been leaning into the aggressive fight so far, and the sharpness of a player that has an extra 3 hours of rest under his belt starting to show. He's going to see if he can lean in against this, but all the ADS is burning. I mean, that shield is going to sit much longer than it otherwise would. The diffuser is going to change hands, and the drone slowly makes its way closer and closer. It's going to take quite a lot to burn itself through, and instead the pressure might actually start to come onto the window of the site itself.
Pressure indeed changing just ever so slightly. Eminem going for a small change in pace. Benja might have been spotted out on that basement, considering Solotov is going on a bit of a hunt as they're coming out from 2 different sides at the same time. It's Tyrant who will be able to pick up that kill. Instantly heals himself back up as he rotates back to the position he's needed to be in. He's being pulled, but they don't quite know. Someone is on the bunks area, so Eminem just continues to try and make a push happen elsewhere. Have those grenades, they have plenty of them. They just need to find a way. Actually, Just 103 left still. Just need to find a place and a way to use them in the right way. Solotov here trying to contest the attic.
I mean, the camera's going to be there entirely until it gets C4'd off, but in the meantime, Sloth takes the fight and kill anywhere. He's waiting for another bit of a swing to come through. Solotov, in the meantime, gets the cut over the top. Can't quite get the next, though. 2 angles, 2 firefights. And suddenly canisters are popping, but they're stacked up on the top of white stairs. The split pushes come through. Sloth locks off one direction, and, well, they're going to see if they can try and shove their way in through the other. Nello cannot quite get it. It's a 2 versus 1, though. And suddenly, Eminem, after a fair few rounds have gone away from them, have made a connection on their attack so far for 1. That 0 isn't so ominous so much.
Now they just need to find another round here on their attacks. I think that is what their goal should be after that rehost. If they manage to find 2, then it's definitely not over yet. There's definitely the opportunity to try and get back into it, and even with everything that's currently going on, they should be able to turn the tides. Let's get a quick burst of refreshing. Just make sure everything suddenly goes the right way again. I mean, we've been there, of course, during the first map when they were down a couple of rounds and managed to bring it back. That's what we're looking for right now. Is Eminem going to be able to do that? Our newly promoted European League team taking on the team that knocked them out last year and took away their chance of making it to pro play, to tier 1 play. Eminem can now return that favor. Knock down Cavanagh out of the European League or European Last Chance Qualifiers Grand Finals. If you want to go use that complete name. The Last Chance Qualifiers, Close Qualifier EU, Grand Finals. There's a lot of stuff you can put on it.
It's a long list.
It's a long list.
It's a very long list. Okay, Cavanagh. Can you make yourself happy 5-1? To be fair, 4-2 is still very respectable in the setup here that it is Eminem's map. It is defenses on Oregon, and what we started to see on Club was a good balance of your attacks. You were able to sort of start to light up there. You were setting a pace, and you setting the pace at the minute is where Eminem was struggling to deal with it. Even there, some of those engagements that were clean and a bit sort of zippy from Eminem earlier on in the day still seemed a little bit haphazard, a little bit tired, and this is the next one that might go that way as C4 does not quite find its loop out the window, but the grenade doesn't get the fight either. Tyrant gets massively damaged by the shot over the top. Grizzly is offering some countenance and support from above, but gives himself the ADS to sort of wait and bait some time. Benja and Gorgona keep a bit of an arm's length, but I don't even think they know that Grizzly's there as of yet. Tyrant is going for a rotation, but there's so much else to be cautious of.
Oh, the rotation is right there, and Tyrant was waiting. They had no clue was up at the balcony. And that means it's going to be a free kill. Tyrant took some damage earlier on, I believe, from the engagement he took with Grizzly. And as soon as it rotates out, he's going to be able to punish him for it. The window was cracked. The other window was already opened up. And News is still afraid of a player potentially being down in the dining area. It's definitely a very good start here for the side of Eminem, able to pick up that very first kill. But Sloth, again, in a position where he will be troublesome. We saw the previous round, a bunch of the Retero drones are being used to try and potentially get rid of that shield, but they fail time and time again. They need to go for a different approach. That's what Solotov is currently doing. Trying to push up on the armory stairs and maybe use a grenade from below to truly get rid of the players. Gorgona takes a bunch of damage before he rotates out. This Cavanagh well aware of the fact that they're not really in a very good position at this time.
Eminem, they have just over a minute to try and apply the rest of the pressure to the site itself. Knocked the window, and a bit of a dangerous gambit and gamble when they're still sort of moving and manipulating the space. Cavanagh are never scared of taking a gunfight, even if it's a bit of a wild swing. And here it's the sort of slow and steady goose chase that's not netted any geese. The burn. Cross trophy, they still have the shield and the gate as it was played before, but a slight different approach and reproach here means that Solotov might be able to catch this with a grenade underneath. Not quite close enough. Gorgona suffers a little bit more, but he's still standing, and that's the big problem, because it still only takes 1 kill regardless of the health that you're currently sat at. Nello.
Oh, what a shot!
Oh! Takes the man through the hole, burnt through, and now goes to look for the second in the hope, but 30 seconds. It's got to come soon.
Very important shot right there from Nello as he took out the first. He's now going to create an extra opening for them to rotate into the bedroom. I believe they didn't put up the reinforcement yet. Indeed, they haven't. And as Neo swaps over to the bearing 9, he's willing to go close. He's willing to check the close angle. It's cowana on low HP. He's being challenged as well from the white stairs at the very same time. It's the Ferrari pick to come in from Neo. And instantly going up for the Frank and the defuse there. But it's a flawless round from MNM at the best given timing here. After we thought they might have been slacking, after we thought the fatigue was starting to hit, they get 2 rounds in a row after a rehost called by Cavanagh themselves. And suddenly the tides could shift. Suddenly MNM right now is on the defense, and as they go to the basement, they also know that a mirror, for example, is hard to deal with. And exactly, they will bring it out. If they win this round, suddenly it's 4-3. Suddenly it's only 1 round separating the 2 of them, and MNM could be back into the game.
I was expecting the 6th pick there of the Ying. I sort of saw it, and I think if Ying gets played and flaunted like that, you assume it's going to go and drop. And yeah, it's no surprise, but it's always going to be that constant worry against a team like Cavanagh that can go quick and have gone very quick, even on this side. I still remember them with their blitz push on, I believe, a 7-0 showing during EUR Split 3.
Yeah. We might see that as well coming in some point if they feel like it is the right time for it, but MNM, they're starting to give some fight back now towards Cavanagh, where they were 4-0 up. It's now a 4-2, and MNM, of course, looking to find a way to double down on that. And they bring the exact same issues to the side of Cavanagh that Cavanagh has brought to them. The use of the mirror windows. It is difficult to deal with them if you do not have a Twitch. If you do not have a Thatcher, for example, to get rid of anything protecting it. And the positioning in these makes it so it's extra hard. And you might be wondering, why? Well, you can just shoot some Excaros on it, you dare to say, but you could just also have a player swing into the freezer from the upper door, get rid of the Excaros, and defend it. And the other mirror window can be, in the cubby, can be protected from the mirror window on the freezer. And that way you can protect both of them by just playing it quite safely, not really having to expose yourselves. And that basically forces the side of the attackers to go for a push from the back, from blue, from barrels, from E-box and the back stairs, if they cannot deal with these mirror windows.
Hot droned all the way down with drone in front and a body behind. This is the approach that Cavanagh have often gone with, but they don't feel confident to go for the full swing. To be fair, there's still quite a lot for them to do. They need to try and put some pressure here onto the back stairs. Neo sprayed through and a little bit wild, but wasn't quite rewarded, with the possibility of bloodshed coming out from the Cavanagh players. They've gone at this quick. You can see the sort of pace they're applying themselves over that ground floor to see if they can sort of set any of the MNM players at a bit of a disadvantage, but nothing has been handed over. So let's start the infrastructure work. Let's get rid of some hatches and let's prep ourselves for multiple different takes.
That's it, right? Rotations will also be made at the very same time as Grizzly is opening up the very final hatch. We'll be opening up just slightly with the blowtorch first, as the Excaros arrive a little bit later. Going to be change of mirror windows there. One was kept in pocket for users. Might be wondering why, but that's just to edit it to a potential push to come through. If it would be coming down from the laundry, it would have been placed there, but since it seems to be coming down from the blue area, it will be placed towards barrels. So if you lose control of the elbow, there is still the opportunity to go aggressive. Yeah, we got spotted out as he ran underneath the stairs, and well, they are aware of his position, but there's nothing really they can do at this given time. There's a small opening there, a grenade could be bounced through, but Neo still has the opportunity to rotate out if necessary.
They're still seeing if they can clutch on, and we've seen late pushes work on this site before, but not really on this showdown. Solotov pulls back, and they go for a bit of a deep dive with the hot drop there, but crossed off by Neo. Goes for one, finds the second on the split on the other side, but cowana suddenly pulls some of these bodies back into their favor. 30 seconds, and they've been able to take some wrested control over the split on that E-box, but without the confidence to go for the plant itself, and still some utility and the camera getting all the spots. They need to see if they can bury themselves a little bit further. Grizzly has a very important bout of cover. They go for the drop on the other side of the shield down the corridor, find it. Grizzly with a very big double. Solotov gets one more, and that could be the most impactful of them all. The shotgun gets one. He gets second. Solotov!
What a clutch that was! He gets the injure, and afterwards the 2 shots with the shotgun playing it to perfection as he falls back after the first pump. And MNM, they win their first defensive round, just barely, you'd care to say. Neo picks up one, he picked up two before he got injured himself. Gorgona brought it back towards Cavanagh's hands, but the last man standing in a 1v3 clutch. Crucial for Eminem to keep them in it, and this might be a bit of energy that will be surging through the veins of Eminem right now as they're heading over towards that top floor. Having the opportunity to bring it to a 4-4. As the Maestro gets 6 picked out to yet to be determined. Operator could be a Maestro again. Now it's an Aruni. The laser gate's there to stop any of those further grenade plays, as it has been quite problematic here and there. Now, as the replay comes through, you see what happened here. They managed to take 2 individual gunfights there. No trades truly coming through. But a perfect red situation there from Solotov. Able to pick up the first, the second, and the third, all by falling back a meter after a meter. And then again, deeper into the cubby. Now, Eminem, that round should have been lost, you can almost say, if you looked at a 3v1 situation they were in, but nonetheless, they still got it. And with that, they find a way to close the gap just a little bit more. And a single round is all that is standing between them and Cavanagh right now.
Eminem, here's a little bit of what we were missing, and here's a little bit of a step on the gas pedal. How much can we keep this going for? Because Cavanagh, to be fair, they haven't really slowed down. It's you that's actually found that bit of important momentum, and Solotov, man of the moment, could be deserving of a little bit more.
Yeah.
If more plays like that start to come through, but to be fair, he has been exceptional in the recent M&M rise. It's a fun thing to say quite a lot. It's very easy to...
It's very easy, M&M rise. See, it's, no worries. Managed to get that one out. Not any of the other words. It's a good drone here from Sloth, however. They know one is inside security. There's a rotation, however, in towards the dining area. Solotov being hunted down as he knows that a drone has spotted him from the other side. Spots out a player as well on a little bit of a further angle. And as he rotates back in, there's still this one drone on Sloth that is being watched. And as he's trying to challenge, other members of Cavanagh will definitely be getting into a position to try and support. Now, the big question is there any M&M players in a position where they can support as Solotov sneaks out yet once again? He needs to find a way out to green. You hope to say, but of course he doesn't know he has been spotted. He doesn't get that same knowledge that we have. And as he rotates in back yet once again, Sloth knows exactly where this man is located. Oh, there we have it. That's a drone. No.
I mean, at least he found it. It was the thing that we saw, to be honest, bite Eminem quite a lot. Last time round on their defenses, their flanks were caught off by well-placed drones, and users was caught out by a well-played grenade. Finally, they find the confidence to lock down Solotov, and Neo here with the C4 on the window wants to see if he can catch Gorgona, but he's giving it a very wide berth. With the reinforced hatch, it means he has a little pocket of safety, but it's still a lot of destructibility. Benja. One more for his tally as Tyrant goes down, puts us into the 5 versus 2. Nello is setting himself up in quite an aggressive position. Neo is allowing himself back closer and closer to the site here. It's a lot of flutter utility over to the big double window. They've been able to at least clear some space, but with a minute on, they're more than able to do stuff like that. Can't find the player and put the pressure onto the last one. A first take. Second doesn't quite come through. They're in the site. They're all over the shop. They're going for the plant on the other side of the wall. There's one more for Neo, but it's still an uphill. Sees it, can't quite connect the dots. M&M find their 5th. Oh, but Cavanagh find their 5th.
A little bit too slow there on the actual trigger pull. Didn't realize he was looking right at him there. Of course, quite difficult in that case. It was at the bottom of his crosshairs. And now, a 5-on-3. Cavanagh singular round away from reaching a map point, whereas Eminem is still a little bit close. Stefan decides to put a T in the chat and say sorry for it. He's just distracting him in this case. How dare he? But yeah.
Oh, easy.
Oh, easy. How dare you? 5-on-3. Maestro again being 6 picked out, this time to a Legion. Might be wondering why exactly the Legion. It's not like we see a shield, but the Legion still slows down these pushes. If they go in quick, there is that way to slow them down. It's that needle in their feet they have to pull out, especially if they will be trying to go for a plant. First that needle, then the plant. It takes up that time. So if you do manage to put them in the right positions, if you do manage to hit the players at the right time, it could be extra helpful.
Eminem, they're only 2 rounds behind. They've obviously been able to take at least their laundry. They think they can up their chances here on Dorms, but it was a very well put together attack by Cavanagh. They were able to play entirely what I said they did well on Clubhouse, which was just piecing control of the pace. Setting that on their attacks has been their sort of swan song, and putting that pressure onto a more tired team has been the lead-in towards some more positive results. They are 1 round away from securing OT, 2 from securing a final map, and as I said, it's like you're in that dream where you're running but the distance keeps getting further and further away.
Yeah.
That is sort of the perpetual hell Eminem are finding themselves in here.
Well, they know what they need to do. The distance basically does stay the same. It's just that they're not running very fast at this moment in time.
Is that your psychological breakdown?
That's how I'm
of
going
that
to be
dream?
saying it. You know,
Okay.
it's like they just need to get those last 4 to 7 rounds. You know, depending on what map we're on. It's just they're not quite getting them. Either way, there is still this opportunity. There's only 2 behind, and on that defense, they just need to make sure that they're not the victim of the opening frags that Cavanagh seem to be able to get quite consistently. Cavanagh playing with that buck. We highlighted him before, one of those players that truly loves and is in unity with this operator. It's a bit of a danger. Again, a good drone, this time taken out by Solotov, and he is looking to drop towards safety. Knows that he had been spotted, knows that there will be some pressure coming down upon him, and as he drops, he will keep the attackers guessing.
They're over the hatch. They're waiting to see if they can, I guess, try and force out that roam player, but this time they're not caught. It allows the buck of Cavanagh to start trying to do some structural work underneath the site itself, force some more uncomfortable situations. They were very good at shepherding the players into exactly those and then punishing them where they found themselves lying here. Well, without the security of that loose player of Solotov, they're sort of a little bit more in doubt. Zulu becomes very important territory for the hold here onto the site itself. You need to sort of keep that locked down on that corridor to ensure that the pocket plant on the safety of the backside is that safe. It can very quickly start to filter away from you if that loose staircase is lost.
Still no one is below, though. I believe Slough is holding off the freezer staircase, making sure no one will be jumping back in. But as yet another drone gets caught by Solotov, he will remain down at that basement, will remain flanking and being that uncertain factor in the attack of Cavanagh right here. As Nello is the first one to drop, it's a grenade. That will land right on top of him. Easily recovered, you dare to say, but Gorgona is in a position where he can start opening up with a skeleton key, so you prefer to have Nello underneath ready, as Sloth is the first to fall by Neo.
This, though, I talked about Solotov, and I talked about the importance of Zulu, and he's been able to find himself locked in here as Benja goes to try and take the site itself. He's a little bit isolated. They still have the pings on the body, but there it is, the kill underneath. They've suddenly lost all that security on the plant spot, so they've got to see if they can strike. There's still the man down. They know it, and the pings were hot, so they can't quite get the confidence. The spray onto the top of white stairs. The plant is being locked in, but Grizzly is all that's left. A handful of seconds. Goes for a rotate, can't quite get the connection. 5-4.
Fighting back, still going strong here. Eminem, just a singular round again between you and Cavanagh. That could be so important. If you reach that 5 mark, you were within striking distance of making yourself a team qualified for not just the European League, but also the Six Invitational in 2022. That is the goal. That is what they want to achieve. That is where both these teams want to go. As laundry supply again will be picked up, the mirror windows will be making their re-entrance as it will be unlocked. It is a good opportunity for Eminem. But they need to make sure that they don't make the same mistakes they made before, where they gave away their man advantage from a 5 versus 3 to a 3 versus 1, which luckily for them was still clutched out. Otherwise we would have been at a 6-3 map point here for Cavanagh, 3 of them to be exact. But the big question here is Eminem, are they going to be able to pull off what they did before as well on this site and get yet another win underneath their belts? Now, what we saw users do the last time around was carry that second mirror window inside his pockets, waiting to see where the push would be coming from before setting up that second one to provide a small bit of support. It didn't really help them too much, the one that was placed into elbow. It was punched out as well, just to make sure that there wasn't really anything they could do with it if they would have lost the side and the player would still be around there. But Eminem are playing with a bit of a own right now. Tyrant using that Scorpion, trying to be aggressive, looking for these drones as he knows there's eyes on him all the time at this point. If he finds the first kill or first 2 kills, that would be great. He's waiting for the drone to come around the corner. That will be shortly followed up by Sloth, and as he misses the opportunity, he knows that he needs to fall back as the RC Retiro will be able to pick up Solotov. I'm not quite sure how that mattered or how that came through.
Surely he was on camps or something. You can only really assume when those kills connect that way that it's unlucky in that sort of position and situation. There's a long time to get out of the way of a Retiro, so an unfortunate catch from a cam or on camps is usually the suspect. If anything, it puts a huge amount of pressure on them now. That's a hole that they've got to fill. It's Solotov, who has always been a consistent force. It's the smoke. Think of the importance of the extension that comes through on elbow. It's why you're seeing a slight change in where they're placing some of their utility here. It's going to mean that that cost, that corner, is a much more deliberate fight now.
I'm sure a lot of openings are being made here by Gorgona. He's making sure the mobility is not going to be the issue that Cavanagh might be suffering from. They want to open up every single wall they can to ensure the biggest and highest amounts of speed they can navigate through the map with. As the hatches are being opened up, Eminem is a man down due to an unfortunate RC Retiro that caught Solotov off, the man who clutched it the last time around, using that shotgun and the SMG-11 together with the smoke canisters. They're all gone. 1 blow, 1 explosive. A minute 10 left on the clock. The hatch will be opened up. It seems like the push will be coming from the backside. However, an M&M, they should be aware of it. A Nitro self-buys over, but is not going to be able to find Anarchic, so the diffuser remains in his hands. And as M&M is aware of the fact that they're still that 1 man down and need to locate themselves in the best possible way. There is a reinforcement left. They can use it. They just have to choose when and where to do it.
Creep up the stairs was almost a very bold play there, but Sloth has this watched. He's not overextending. He knows the pressure's coming from E-Box. He knows that there is this other point to Cavanagh's attack, and he's ready and waiting and willing for them to get into position before he goes for the strike. 30 seconds. They've done quick pushes before. They've been able to get these connections, and they're happier to trust all the intel they catch before. The catch starts to come through. Everything's burned and bursted. There it is, though. Tyrant on the backside gets one, gets the diffuser cold. Grizzly tries to go for revenge and a pick back up, but as that mirror window gets popped on the way back, it's Sloth that drives himself closer and closer. A handful of seconds and Grizzly loses out on the closed chassis, but it's an instant pick back up and response revenge. They're trying to stick it. They don't quite have the confidence, and there's why Nello with the swing round cannot quite get it. It's blow for blow, but Sloth is that final figure standing to get the round for Cavanagh.
Playing from the elbow there, able to get the final 2 kills, and Cavanagh find themselves into a match, or rather a map point, and Eminem 2 rounds down currently. Will run it back towards that basement. They lost their smoke, unfortunately, through that RC. That means there's an easy way to improve on that. Don't die by the RC. that is literally going to be it. Make sure that that one doesn't pick you up, or at least someone is out there to provide some extra cover. But as the 6-pick comes in, as the Maverick that will be coming through, no RC Retiros to be used to get rid of the utility. Of course, Tyrant was playing aggressively under the hatch as well. He was able to pick up a singular kill as a result, but after that, that open wall facing the back stairs, it continues to be a problematic point for the side of M&M, and yet they continue to keep it open up. And I understand that it's a way to challenge the back stairs to some extent. However, it has cost them their lives much more than it has given them kills.
A slight difference in pace. No deaths to Reteros because they're not here this time around with Cavanagh. They're opting instead for more of a standard lean in here. They have the pace that can be applied. There was obviously a little bit of a choice of sites, but Laundry seems to be the one they want to be a bit more solid on. To be fair, 1 win, 1 loss. You may as well try and bat on the place where if you get this, you then have dorms open up. It's not that you have to try and risk a play onto a tertiary site itself. There is, obviously, this growing game of Cavanagh where they're really happy to go back onto their drones. Their intel in terms of capturing M&M players has been so good over this and the previous map especially, and it just becomes this sort of consistent growing problem where even if they're at 30 seconds, M&M feel like they're going to be under pressure from intel. It means those trade engagements are more likely to go into the hands of Cavanagh because, well, they know where M&M have stacked themselves up for the same engagements.
Tyron is going to be able to take some of those drones, just a singular one for now. However, a Sloth is going to be led into that freezer together with the Finka right behind him. Of course, those surges, but the drone will be spotting out a mirror window yet once again, and that means that the freezer push is not really there to be truly used. As Benja falls back as well, they're looking to figure out how actively it's currently being contested. Is there a player on the other side of the freezer? Yes, indeed there is. But a grenade can still be attempted. However, if you manage to toss it through at the right timing, it could be a kill that you land.
It's a risk. It's a risk. It's an unfortunate and sort of uncomfortable angle to try and hit from the opposite side, which is what makes that mirror window so good. But the reliance of that mirror window is control of the other side. As soon as you start to lose pillar, suddenly you are just a sitting duck. You have to play it with a little bit more of an extension if you want to try and keep that pressure up, and add in a little bit of that from Laundry side, and, well, it's even more impossible. He knows this, and he's just going to hold on to it for as long as he can. It sort of delays a potential inevitable. But it starts to roll closer and closer to home. They're cracking open the hatches on the far side in the split. Gorgona is ready to try and put the pressure onto Laundry, as I said, with the focus towards that mirror window. If they can get this catch, Nello's going to be the one that pays the price. He's already moved off, though. He's aware of that pressure. As I said, he can still play it, but he's got to play it from a much more comfortable angle.
Well, the utility has been wasted by that one grenade, however, but as he continues to challenge that mirror window, the freezer push is definitely not going to be one that Cavanagh feel comfortable using. You see it as well. All the rotations came through. Some go towards the barrel, some go towards the E-box and the back stairs. I believe maybe one is headed towards the freezer. For when everything starts to unfold, you at least have that small bit of pressure there and can lock down any of the big players on the side of MNM who could be playing there. As Benja's looking to put the rush into motion here with the gun 6. He's waiting for the call of his IGL, and that is going to be a crucial position there for Solotov. He needs to slow these down. A grenade will be used to get rid of the actual smoke canister that's out there, and as the gun 6 pops, they're starting to rush.
Well, there it is. It's all blind. It's all M&M, though. They're able to just sort of batten down the hatches and bear the storm. Tyron is, in fact, thinking about the idea of retaking a bit of ground. Sprays off one. There's one left. Went to swap out, but Gorgona has nowhere else to go. A technical flawless, though one of the players was down, and it's not quite over yet. M&M say they are one round, one, I assume, dorms away from getting it to OT. Not over, but again, that road that ever stretches longer, it's better to be 10 minutes than an hour.
Yeah, for sure. Eminem surely prefers to go to OT here and have the opportunity to lock it off before they have to head towards Villa. Cavanagh, however, they will give everything they have, every single bit of information or energy, rather, to make sure that this round is going to be played into perfection. They do not want to go to OT. They want to bring it to map 5. They want to make that reverse sweep happen, or at least put it into motion. And as the top floor will be used, the dorms will be the bomb sites. It's been one before, but it has been tricky. And that is basically what we need to watch out for. Is Eminem going to be able to lock off this round, lock off this side the way that they were able to lock off the bottom floor before as well? There is no death from an RC. Luckily, there's none here this time around as well, so no need to worry about that. And that shield out there in the middle of the games, that will be quite important. It's not being backed up by Sir Lasergate, but I'm sure that there is going to be 2 ADSs placed on either side of the door to ensure that that shield will stay up as long as it possibly can. Yeah, you have it. 2 ADSs out there just to stop any gun 6 from flying through.
Curious about the rotation they have out towards Attic. They've got themselves a stretch there with a big hole on the far side, and we've just seen Tyrant go through it. Whether that gets locked off and baited as a play, or whether it's just the read that Cavanagh haven't paid much attention to it, but yeah, Sloth almost suffered there from the fright from the fight in Classroom.
I think he took some team damage as they took the camera.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he took about 50 HP.
Oh, yeah. The outline was Nello above. I thought it was in Classroom. Oh, well. Those mistakes happen.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, they got the Finka, they got the Adrenaline Surge they can use to heal him back up, but it could have also been a headshot, so luckily for the side of Cavanagh. And said it before as well, we didn't see a single team kill yet here throughout the tournament.
Well,
so,
now you've said it
it will
again,
happen.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Now it's cemented.
Written in the story.
As I said, if they get a whiff that there was a bit of an extension out towards Attic, they might see if they can put some pressure there instead of their usual hold, and they have, but it has since been locked. They sort of baited a play and handed it over, and they're buying themselves some time, because so far, the previous 2 times Cavanagh's gone for the approach here, it's both been from the double window. This is a usuals team's default approach, but this is the first time we're seeing it from Cavanagh. Nobody is inside Trophy. Behind that shield are stacked up, trying to apply some pressure back onto the fight here as Grizzly goes for the split onto the Attic side push. Has the grenades to long arm if he wants to, but the rotate, it's just wide enough.
It's just going to be created there by that blowtorch, allowing them to sneak in to the Attic if they want. Surely some noise has been made, and I hope that the MNM players are aware of the fact that it had been opened up, because no one is currently actually watching the Attic there, it seems like. A couple of them are offside turn below, so is, I believe, Solotov. And as they are starting to open up onto the games as well, it can be a 2-pinch approach. With, of course, the games as well, which seems to be not occupied at all right now.
Gonna see if they can get the grenade kill to the player in the corner pocket, but
oh, yeah, they do.
They did. It looked like they rotated out, but they actually came back in. The spray through the window suffers Tyrant more than anything. Benja had a bit of read on that play, maybe a bit of audio. Way, Tyrant's lucky to escape with his life on quite an important round here. Cavanagh, they have that lead in. They have the control of Trophy by the looks of it now as well. They've broken themselves over Radic and got rid of the Goyo shield. Eminem's forced into more and more uncomfortable situations, like the end of Sloth's gun. Finished off the job on one, finds the spray onto the other, a huge kill, and backed up by users too. Cowana suffers next. They're trying to get the lead in onto Walk-In, 30 seconds. They only really have one route through with the diffuser and the kit and the case in pocket. The spray is theirs. Neo pulls himself back to the other side of White Stairs and uses his buying time with Grizzly getting Solotov. And Grizzly getting the cover there for Cowana to get the plant down. It's over the top, and it is Grizzly, and we are going all the way.
Going all the way to map number 5. Cavanagh is going to be able to bring it back here after MNM again putting in some good last strikes there onto the very final round, having the opportunity of potentially bringing it back towards an OT, but the last 2 kills went the way of Cavanagh instead. And that means Oregon will be their map. And that means that Villa is going to be on the chopping